back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jeri.
And I'm Brad. And on this episode, we'll be exploring number 14 from Jeri's top 20 movies of all time. And her number 14 is Nosferatu the Vampire. Released in 1979, directed by Werner Herzog, written by Werner Herzog, edited by Beate Menke Gellenhaus. Sorry, I'm sure I absolutely butchered that person's name. Starring Klaus Kinski, Isabelle Adjani, and Bruno Getz. German real estate agent Jonathan Harker travels to Transylvania to complete a land deal with the mysterious Count Dracula. The Count becomes enamored with a picture of Lucy, Jonathan's wife, and soon he travels to Germany, where mysterious deaths caused by the plague or something else begin to occur. So, yeah. This is one of those movies where it's not in my wheelhouse whatsoever. It's a horror movie, which are not movies that I generally like. This one's like super stylized, which I think is Jeri's jam. I think that's part of the reason she likes this movie. It's very atmospheric. I found this movie to be incredibly dull. I hadn't seen it in a really long time, and I didn't really remember it, and now I remember why I only watched it once, because it's boring. I'm sorry, it is dull.
It's
dull,
pretty
dull,
slow.
dull,
It's pretty
dull,
slow.
dull. I'm sorry, this movie is just boring. There are a lot of things to like about it. Again, the stylistic stuff, the direction. I'm not a big fan of the performances in this. I'm not a real big fan of the story itself. I think the one interesting thing about the story is setting it during the plague, which kind of like it is this supernatural stuff going on, or people dying from the plague, or people dying from this vampire. And I think that is really interesting because it plays on people. People are kind of like trying to figure certain things out. You're still at a time, when people are fairly uneducated, so supernatural stuff is going to be more prominent with them. So I thought that aspect of the story was fairly interesting. I thought the look of the vampire is really good. He's creepy looking.
As fuck.
I mean, Klaus Kinski to begin with is a little creepy looking, but you throw like all this like vampire stuff on him, and he looks even creepier. This is another of their Werner Herzog and Klaus Kinski's collaborations. They're kind of the European Scorsese and De Niro, except for that they absolutely hated each other. That's which crazy. Is so weird. Like they worked together like 8 times or something like that, and they despised each other.
Well, I was reading about it, and it sounds like the Krasinski, is that it? Kinski guy is really hard to work with.
Yes, and it seems like Herzog is the only one who is able to do that, like on a regular basis, like, because Kinski's a really good actor, but again, like problematic to like deal with, and like it seemed like it almost seems like Herzog took it like as a challenge in life to like work with this guy and get these kind of performances, because they've made some pretty interesting stuff. There's a movie called Fitzcarraldo that's nuts.
Yeah
it's like this like set in like South America. It's crazy.
And now he's working with Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I would like to see the baby.
Okay, yeah, atmosphere mostly for me. And I'm a sucker for a vampire. I love the vampire lore. I've read tons of books on vampires, novels, all kinds of stuff. I've watched a ton of movies.
Yeah, I like that it's not a sexy vampire. That always like...
But it is in a way. Okay, so...
If you find that sexy...
No, I'm not saying I find it sexy. I'm saying...
I'm like, I gotta... She says I'm handsome. I'm not sure.
No, I think that... I think that it has sexual undertones.
Well, I think the character in general. I think vampirism in general.
The whole
yes.
The glamoring of people.
Yes.
Is kind of that. So yeah, for this movie in particular, it's very stylized. I love the sounds of this movie. I like the music in the beginning where you're looking at all the skulls.
I get like the technical stuff. I gave pretty high marks on.
Yeah, the bat flying and you hear his, you know.
Yeah.
And the opening shot where she's on the beach is just really pretty. Like, it's really beautiful the way that's kind of shot.
European cinematography in general, most films shot in Europe are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And most of the great cinematographers come from Europe. Like if you go through and you look at cinematographers on even US movies, a lot of them are European.
Also, the sound, I really love how he used sound. Like, everything is very hollow sounding, and I think that...
Especially, on his trip there.
Yeah, and the castle.
Yeah, and the castle. That stuff, it's effective.
It's effective. It's kind of representing that, the Nosferatu with no soul is kind of hollow. Musical's beautiful. You hear this heartbeat sometimes in the music, which is kind of crazy and creepy. Dracula is so creepy and he's so freaking slow. I love, this is my favorite thing about how they do, some people do vampires is they're attacking, but they're attacking very, very slowly. It cracks me up. And of course, leave it to the female to say, I'm going to do something about what's going on because nobody else is doing it.
Well, I mean, her husband's lost his shit at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next in line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So,
and so this is based off of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
And another book. And there's two books it's based off of.
Yeah, so there's a lot of similarities in the story, but I do like what you were saying about how the plague, it was taken during the plague.
I think that comes from the second book.
I think it comes from Bram Stoker's, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so, because I remember... I read that book a long time ago, and I remember I
thought that book was set further back in time. Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I gotta read it again.
I haven't read. I read it 35 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, I think I read it 10 years ago, so I'm kind of cloudy on it. But anyway, classic story. Basically, they did do a few things a little differently.
Is the one that's coming out, is it a remake of this movie or is it a new interpretation?
It's new interpretation,
okay,
as far as I know. I am freaking ecstatic about this new movie that's coming out. I'm watching it on Christmas Day, which is next week, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Good for you.
Yeah. So,
not with me, if you can figure that one out.
Yeah, so I first watched this movie in film school.
Okay.
And in a film class, not film school. I didn't go to film school, but and it was I think the whole reason why we watched it was because, one, it was a foreign movie, and two, because of the atmospheric.
Yeah, the technical stuff in the movie, there's no question about it. But for me, you got the technical stuff doesn't matter to me if the stuff underneath it doesn't do anything for me. And this is one of those cases where I think this is a technical achievement of a movie. And there's, it's got a real crispy crust and there's nothing under it.
Okay.
I thought the story was dull. I've seen movies with both Kinski and Isabelle Adjani. I've liked them in other movies. I don't like them in this movie. Kinski's take on Dracula's okay. It's a little, I think it's appropriately creepy. I don't think Isabelle Adjani has a lot to do. I think the Bruno Gantz character is kind of milquetoast. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just written that way. I think he's interpreting what's on the page appropriately, but it's just like I watched and I was just like,
that's okay. You can eat it. It's all right.
And I really truly watched it too, and I'm just like,
I heard you. I think I was back here working or something, and I hear you going, "Ah."
I'm like, can this end anytime soon? It's so slow. It doesn't need to be I love a good slow movie.
Yes, you do.
I have a lot of slow movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of slow burns. Yeah.
This one is just like, it's slow for slow's sake. It's just like, I couldn't do it. It didn't resonate with me whatsoever.
So how did you rank it?
Well, because the technical stuff's so high, this one got a 55.4.
Okay.
If you take the technical stuff out of this, is a real low score.
Okay. All right. If you've seen 1979's Nosferatu and you have opinions about it, please leave your opinions in our comments and like our video.
Don't put yourself through it. I can't recommend it. I just can't.
Anyway, if you'd like to contact us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. But for now, I'm Jeri.
I'm Brad.
And we're rating the list. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.